And he spoke in Telugu. Like, wow. And I said, yes. So he said, first choose the model. I said, but where is that Murphy model? He said, choose whichever model you like. And then he brought out a tray. And he said, I have all the labels. Whichever label you want, I will punch it in. Made as USA. No, made at USA. You know what is USA? Ulhasnagar Sindhi Association. Ulhasnagar Sindhi Association is not United States of America. So I was really shocked. He had all brands, Philip, Samsung, Samsonite, or whatever brands that you want. They were all there. Even he had brands which never manufactured electronics. That way, we have a lot of things fake around. We have not even genuine emotions, thoughts, or words. They are also fake. There is a expression, but there is no bhavana behind the expression. It is hollow, khokla. So first when I came into this country, I was so impressed. Whether the person knows you or doesn't know you, doesn't matter. He says hi to you. Hi. And I was really amazed. Oh, what a culture. Good. I thought that is, but it is like as empty, as hollow as anything else. Yes, even if you don't respond, there is no waiting there. It is just a ritual. Similarly, all those three words that we use so regularly, it has lost its meaning, essence, and effectiveness. Thank you, sorry, and please. So much so that it has become a demand that when you do something, you keep waiting. You didn't say the, what is that word? Magic word. Thank you. You didn't say the magic word. The first time I heard it, I felt like saying, get lost. That is the magic word. You don't demand it. It has to come from the heart. Yes, when you teach your children, you have to teach them the right steps, so you keep insisting that they learn it. But we behave like children. I did so much, nobody thanked me. Nobody mentioned my name even. Grow up. Who is demanding it? We come to the platform to serve so that that ego is busted out. And that ego keeps demanding still. And we keep pampering it still. So the words don't have bhava in it, the thought doesn't have bhava in it. It doesn't have strength of stability in it, that any passing, trickling emotion, thought, or experience can destabilize our life. A little thing here in the physical health, and then आसमान खड़ा कर देते हैं. A little emotional, such a depression. You don't even know the spelling of depression. What you're going through is a very minute little. How can you discard something like that? The clinical depression has got a totally different meaning. Wherein you are so debilitated that there is no processing happening. There is a shiver all over the body. Nothing is under control. A little sad moment happens, it is so depressing these days. Love, another khokla word, another, I love you. Do you love mommy? Gunpoint pe. It's like, point blank range, and the child is like, not at this moment, but do I have a choice? Our love is basically nothing but a glorified attachment. It has got no meaning or sense of love in it. Because love knows no bondage. And what we do is purely in bondage. So there is no satyatva in it. There is no truthfulness in it. In the earlier days, when somebody took water in their hand and chanted a mantra and threw, and whatever be the sankalpa, it happened. Turn into a stone. And Ahalya turned into a stone. Don't try it at home or anywhere else. Because the nearest stone, they'll throw it on you. It doesn't work. To have that siddhi, it starts with vak shuddhi. That vak shuddhi amplified. The satyatva, what you say, starts happening. But neither in the thought, nor in the word, not in the deed, there is any stability of truthfulness in it. Though what we expect from everybody is nothing but truthfulness and honesty. However crooked be the group. Even in the thugs, dons and what do you call them? Mafioso. What is the thing that keeps them together? What is it that they are expected? Isn't it trustworthiness and honesty and truthfulness in the group? Though with all that support of all truthfulness, what do they end up doing? Everything other than truthfulness. First time when I was watching this Pirates of Caribbean, what they do is stupid things. Loot, plunder the ship and its cargo and everything. And then they have a code of conduct for that. Because what even the thugs, even the most crooked people respect is truthfulness. Is that honesty? Once I had done this experiment, I don't know if I've shared this with you. We were in a Kumbh Mela. I don't know if I've shared it here or not. So once I was this was about the last Kumbh Mela, Mahakumbh Mela, which comes once in like 120 years or something. It was in Triveni Sangam. And we were coming back and we were in second AC and somebody had occupied it. Somebody had occupied, and the worst part was in the second AC they were having the chutta bolte na, the cigar, desi cigar. So it was AC, it was suffocating. So I looked at him and said, "Bhai sahab, band karenge?" So he looks at me, top to bottom, and says, "Kuch nahi hoga." Nothing will happen. I said, "What do you mean, nothing will happen?" So he says, I don't know if he meant it as jovially or not, but what came out was very jovial. "तू क्या गाज तेल की टंकी है? कुछ नहीं होगा, बैठ जा." What it meant was, you are not a petrol tank that you have to be afraid of this burning cigar. Nothing will happen, sit down. I said, what to do with this fellow now? So I had to restrain my laughter there. Because they were sitting in our seats and they wouldn't let go. Kept arguing and it went to almost to a fighting point. And suddenly, I don't know what happened, something flashed in me. We are carrying that Ganga water back to our homes. So one of the bottles I flipped open, took that and said, "Bhadram karne Vishnu Yamadeva," and I started chanting Shanti mantra. And winked at other brahmachari ji. Now he's just this Shivratri, he was given sannyas. So winked at him and he got the clue. And I said, Baba ji ko gussa aa gaya. Baba ji has got now angry. If he throws that water, that shapa will be very heavy on you people. That curse will be heavy on you people. He got so scared, petrified, they immediately grabbed all their like. Then the rest of the compartment, the whole night, that was a big joke going around. My fear was, if that fellow did not get up, I did not know how to withdraw from that scene, from that act that I was putting up. Luckily, thankfully, it worked. Ours is only natak. In those days, even sankalpa matrena, just by doing the sankalpa at the thought level, it would fructify. Because their thought, word and deed had such integrity that satyatva, the truthfulness, expressed. Because their nishtha, their abidance was in that Paramatma who is very Satya Swarupa. And that Satya Swarupa, having that nishtha, because Paramatma is the only real one. And what do we give value to? We give value to everything that is not Paramatma. We give value to what is called the anti-Paramatma. What is anti-Paramatma? Ego. As somebody very beautifully defined it, what does ego stand for? Edging God out. Ego. And we value that. Paramatma is the very Satya Swarupa, the very truth in truth incarnate. So the scriptures also say, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that he is Satya, he is Jnana Swarupa, and he is Ananta, unending. That he is the only truth, he is the only real in this world. In fact, the world has to be perceived, if perceived, as Paramatma, that is the only real perception. Vasur Vasumana Satyaha Samatma Sammita Samaha. Samatma. Samatma. Sama Atma Manaha Yasya Ragadveshadhibihi Adushitaha Saha Samatma. To maintain balance in spite of polarity, that one is called Sama Atma. That individual, that great personification who is the very expression of balance. So we have Ashanti. I am talking about the polarities. We have Ashanti. So what is the other end of the polarity? Shanti. So the Shanti that we have, the peace, the so-called peace that we have, is vulnerable peace. Why? Anything that we are attached to can shatter that peace. So what we have is not PEACE, we have PIEC. We have only pieces. Shattered pieces. We don't observe that when we are in a room, especially in this country, sometimes I observe it in my own modulation, that the AC vents are blowing and it creates a sound. But we get used to it. But for something like on a Saturdays and Sundays, when one after the other, one after the other, back to back to back, when I'm speaking, even that effort seems to be a lot, to be constantly speaking. And suddenly, as if a grace or a blessing, that went stops. And when I modulate then back to my normal voice, that is when I realize that to overcome that sound, I have been speaking on a higher tone, higher pitch, and that is an effort. The moment that pressure is gone, that sound is gone, then I come back to a normal voice. Until then, we don't even realize that we are under constant ashanti. When we get to that other end of polarity, we get instantaneous peace. That ashanti is gone, we feel at peace. That agitation is gone. But it is still vulnerable. Anything out there can topple that shanti. What is samatma mean? That balanced equipoise. And that is why it is recognized not as shanti or ashanti. It is recognized as prashanti. Prashanti, that state of balance which exists both in the noise as well as the absence of noise. Sometimes absence of noise does not give shanti, it gives more agitation. Especially when the kids have grown up and they have gone for their education, for their jobs, and they have settled. And now in that big bhoot bangla, because Texan homes are huge. On an average, we have what? Let me ask the builder. On average, what? 3,000, 4,000 square foot is an average easily. 3,500 is easily average. So 3,500 square foot house, there are like blick blick, there are two people living. By that time, they are also like one lives in that room, another one lives in the other room. And then such parents tell, they call it as a technical word, empty nest. Swamiji, it has become such an empty nest that thank God I was waiting for this spring break. The kids have come, their friends have also come. Now it feels like home. That there is a lot of hustle bustle happening. Or else I got tired of the silent home. Sometimes that silence also, that shanti also gets onto your nerves. And it gets to awkwardness. You may have observed that awkward moment of silence when suddenly everybody, the whole group is speaking, there is crosstalk, and suddenly there is that ghost moment where everybody stops speaking and it's awkward. So silence can be awkward, but prashanti can never be awkward. It is in spite of the sound or the absence of sound. In spite of ashanti or shanti. That kind of balance, what shanti and ashanti I took was just one example, one sampling. In all walks of life, to maintain that balance, whether the presence of it or the absence of it does not create a ripple in that individual. Such one is called samatma. And Paramatma is truly that samatma. Whether it is during the creation, whether it is after having created, or during the dissolution, he is in that equipoise, wherein his balance is not lost. And if we are aiming for attaining that great Paramatma in our own heart, where is the starting point? To find that balance within. There is one title in Chinmaya Mission, a book title. Neither too tight, so neither too loose nor too tight. Just right. Neither too loose nor too tight, just right. And we may think now visualizing and all walks of life to maintain that it is such a difficult task. It is a difficult task only in the beginning. Once it becomes your very nature, then all walks of life it's a seamless process. Do you remember your first days of learning car? Or for that matter, learning the bicycle? Has anybody learned cycling without having few punctures all over our body? Few tapes here, there, have you learnt anybody? I'm yet to see one. In spite of having those two, what do you call those extra wheels? Trainer wheels, invariably they have to fall. I can tell you my recent experience. Not about cycling, but about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and after having couple of close calls with water. I love getting into water in the ocean or lakes and a couple of close calls. I got saved in the nick of the moment. I said, enough. Either I shouldn't enter into it or learn at least the skill to survive for a while. Not immediately drown. I shared that interest with one of our mission members. He said, Swamiji, I'll teach you. I went there. And said, come into the water. So I went. So I was only treading all the way up until my waist because that was my comfort zone, beyond which I was not comfortable. So he said, he put his hands underneath and held me in that water. Because of the buoyancy, it becomes easier to hold. He said, now start striking your hands and legs. So not like this, but in a coordinated way. That, have that movement of your legs and your hands let it be he used a word, a windmill kind of a movement. That use your hands in that movement, one after the other, and then move your legs intermittently, and let it not bend at the knee level. Maintain the movement from your hip down as one single stroke of the. I understood technicality. I understood. The moment he removed his hand, see, the understanding of the technicalities and the science behind it, I understood it very clearly. Because he used to attend, he still attends, attend my lectures. He took a complete badla on me. He said, Swamiji, this is called Vedanta in practice. You have to let go your wrong convictions. You have to let go of your fear. It is difficult to drown. It is easy to stay afloat. I said, yeah, right. And he said, if you can trust me. And he said, don't you say the same thing that you should have the Shraddha in the Guru? I said, chal beta bol le, aaj tera time hai. If you trust me, take a deep breath. Okay? And don't move your hands or legs, just so that you will get that confidence. Just take a deep breath. Don't need to breathe underwater or nothing of that kind. Just try to let go of your legs slowly. And the first experience, it took a while, because suddenly I leave my legs with a jerk, and then I stumble and fall, and again I had to get up with such cinematic. After a couple of such trials, he said, keep trying. He kept insisting. So one flick of a moment, I then slowly released my legs, touching the floor, put my hands out there, and finally let go. And then a wonderful moment happened. I was not sinking. I wouldn't claim that as floating. What I observed was I was not sinking. And that built a confidence. Now he said, hold on to the railing of the and start moving your legs. So I did that for 20 minutes. That's when I understood it gets tiring. It tires you out. And then he gave a floaty, a foam thing base, a pad. And he said, hold on to it with your hands and start kicking your legs. Now it was no more a stable platform, it was a floating platform. And as I started kicking my legs, I realized that when I picked my head up, I could only hold for so long. I picked my head up, and so I had moved 4 or 5 feet. I said, wow, I got a little more confidence. Then I could take a deep breath, put my hands forward, and just move my legs, and I could move 5-7 feet. But first was funny that I would start moving my legs, and the movement was reverse. I still don't know how I managed it. But instead of moving forward, I would go always backward, and my legs would hit the wall, and then again get up. Then I said, that you're not doing the movement right. It has to come from the hips, and start moving your legs in this motion. Then he said, now add your hand movements to it. Now when you start adding hand movements, you have to let go of that foam. Now when I had this conviction that it is not, you will not drown. Then I started adding the hand movements. Then was a problem, how to breathe. Breathe was not synchronizing. So we have to reverse the process. Usually we breathe with our nostrils, and breathe out with our nostrils. The process has to be reversed. While you pull your head out, breathe with your nostrils, and as your head is in, breathe out through your mouth. And he taught me a beautiful technique. He said, do Brahmari.